One of the struggles of international students in the UK is how to pay back tuition balance. Tuition balance is one of the headaches that international students have. Now we are going to start from the foundation. Now you know what the foundation is: applying to schools that are cheap. I have said this over and over and over again, and here I am still saying it again. Applying to cheap schools in whichever country you're planning to go for cannot be overemphasized, because I don't see the reason why an international student is going to apply to a school that is boldly written on the tuition as £20,000. Why? How do you hope to afford it? You clearly do not have this money. If you have this money, that's okay. But you clearly know that this money you're looking at now, you don't have it. But you're hoping to pay the initial deposit, and then when you go to the country, you go and work and pay back that tuition balance. Now, do you know one of the lies that has been told over and over again that people still buy into? It is a very big lie. I'm going to tell you. One of it is you are going to pay back when you get to that country, or you will go there and work and pay back your tuition balance. That is a very, very big lie. That is a greatest lie. Don't believe it. Don't fall for it. It is so impossible for you to work 20 hours per week and pay back £15,000 tuition balance, and if even £14,000, even £10,000. Do you know what you're talking about? It is almost, it's not even almost, it is impossible. You shouldn't even be thinking about it, because it is going to be stressful. It is going to be a struggle for you as an international student. Remember, you're working just 20 hours per week, okay? Just 20 hours per week during term time. And even when you come into the country, it is not even easy for you to see a job, even within the first 2-3 months of your studies, because you're still looking for how to adjust into the new place you've relocated to. So is it that time that you start looking for a job, part-time job that will start paying you almost immediately? That's number one thing you should think about: applying to cheap schools. The second thing on the list is applying to schools that have very good repayment plans. By now, you should have known what repayment plan is in the UK. But if you do not know, repayment plan is when a school breaks down your tuition balance into installments. So if you had like £12,000 as a tuition balance, the university you're going to breaks down that tuition balance into 6 or 7 installments. Now, when the school gives you 6 or 7 or 8 installments to pay back your tuition balance, that's known as a good repayment plan. Some schools give you up to 10 installments to pay back this tuition balance. That's a good repayment plan. But you see, the schools that do not have good repayment plans, don't apply to them, because you will not be able to meet up. Okay. No, do you know one of the downsides of missing a payment when you're paying back your tuition balance? Schools right now are not smiling in the UK. If you miss one payment, they are going to write to the Home Office and cancel your visa and your cards. And you know what that means? If you have to go back to your home country and reapply again, and it is a whole long journey. It's not a good experience. I'm sure by now you're familiar with the story of this young lady that's came on the internet a few months ago and was crying about how the Home Office has sent her an email for her to leave the UK within 60 days. Now, what did she do? What was her offense? She worked more than required. Now, we already know that we have stipulated amount of hours you can work as a student during term time. That is 20 hours. But I think she was working up to 50 or 60 hours as a student, which was a breach of her visa contract. Now, let's talk about the foundation of the problem. Why was she working 60 hours or 50 hours? Why was she working more than required when she was still a student? She talked about how her dad was the one supporting her with tuition, paying her bills, paying her tuition fee and all that. And she now unfortunately lost her dad. So she couldn't meet up with the payment. That's why she had to start working extra hours, longer hours, and she breached the contracts of her visa. Now, that was the genesis of the problem. That was the foundation of the problem. Initially, when her dad was supporting her, when her dad was still alive, she didn't need to breach the contract because she had someone supporting her. You understand? So that is how frustrating tuition balance payments can be, because you are going to hate the experience and hate yourself. You won't even give time enough to your studies. And coupled with the fact that if you miss a payment, Home Office will write you. If you fail your courses, Home Office will still write you, because universities now are not smiling. You understand? The parameters are now so wide to cover. So anybody that falls short of those parameters is going to be kicked out. That is the more reason why you need to be very, very careful about universities you apply to in terms of tuition. Even if you have a fixed repayment plan with the university or with finance department of your school, if you fall short or if you know that you may not be able to meet up with a particular payment, you can always go back to your finance department. Most schools are actually sympathetic or empathetic towards the international students, especially if you are being supported from your home country. You know that the exchange rate has a very wide difference in rate, so that can also be used as a constraints, you understand. So you can always speak to your finance department about any situation you are facing and why it's difficult for you to pay back. Some schools are going to re-strategize and organize or plan out another repayment plan for you based on your current situation. Now, another thing you should also understand as an international student about tuition payment or tuition balance payment is that any school that is going to tell you to pay 50% as tuition as initial deposit and 50% upon enrollment is a red flag, is a no-no. Run. Don't even consider it at all. No matter whatever thing it is that the school has, they have the perfect course you're going for. It is a very nice city. It is this one and that one. No matter whatever options are there or whatever thing qualities the school has, that particular one that they say pay 50% upon enrollment, hey, run. Don't even consider it at all. That is a no. That is one thing some people are not going to tell you. This is another hidden truth people will not tell you. Don't consider it at all. Do you know what it means to pay 50% upon enrollment? Enrollment is when you land and you go to the school to do documentation. That's enrollment. So it means you pay the entire balance. That's 50%. You understand? Because if a school asks you to pay 50% of your tuition as initial deposit, 50% is going to remain. So if your tuition is £20,000 and 50% of that is required as initial deposit, which is £10,000, the remaining 50% is the £10,000 that is left, and that is what you're supposed to pay upon enrollment. Do you have it? I know you don't have it. So why are you considering that school? Somebody would say, go. It's just when you leave the country, when you go there, it doesn't work out. Things don't magically work out in whatever country you're going to. That's what people need to understand. It doesn't have to just be the UK. Things don't magically just work out. It takes time for things to work out. So don't expect a miracle and don't use people to have hope. You see, when it comes to money issues, when you relocate, don't use people to have hope, because the people you're using to have hope are also facing their own. People are going through things. People are paying bills. Other people are looking for how to even survive. And you're saying, I have somebody in that place. I will call the person. The person will give me £2,000. Do you know how much is £2,000? Some people, after payment, after they get their salaries every month, don't even see 500 to remain to even see they're putting into savings. Is that what you're using to have hope? People, don't do that. Okay, this is me telling you the truth. Don't do that. People are facing different situations, and when you come into the country, someone can decide to either house you, give you accommodation for a while before you find your feet. But you see, when it comes to giving you physical cash, lose money. UK people don't have lose money. Oh. People don't have this money lying around. Even not even just the UK, but I'm using UK because that's what you can actually relate to. You understand? People don't have loose money lying around. People don't have like £1,000 in the bank. You're not using it for anything. It's not possible. It's not. So if somebody has not promised you that you're going to help you in your tuition balance, don't use somebody and have hope. That is it. Don't. Okay, don't. And then if the person does not help you, start getting angry. You have been in that country for a long time. What is £500 they cannot give me? Look at what you're saying. You know how much is £500? God. See, cut your coat. Before they used to say cut your coat according to your size, but it's possible that your size, the clothes you have, will not be enough to sew clothes for your size. So now it is cut your coat according to the cloth that you have available. Okay, according to the material you have available, according to the fabric you have. So if you have 1 yard, sew a style that 1 yard can fit. That is just it. Okay, so in conclusion of this video, what I'm going to say is, always make sure you keep a spreadsheet of the date you're going to pay your tuition balance. Okay, keep a spreadsheet. Make sure you give yourself like 2 days a reminder or a day reminder, so you don't forget, so you don't miss payment. But if you forget it, you might forget to put money towards it during the month. So always make sure that you give yourself a reminder, either a 24-hour reminder or a 48-hour reminder before your next payment is due, because missing your payment is not an option. You understand? So the next tip I would say is try to combine your tuition, your academics. It is a lot of things to combine. When people say you can't climb a tree holding two things in your hand, it is true, yes. But you see, when you're an international student, it's possible to climb a tree holding things all over your body, hanging things, even your two hands, even your legs, because this is where you multitask. You are studying, you're working. You're studying, if you have children, there's childcare. You're studying, there's a lot of things to do. Okay? Before you go mad, always make sure that you plan yourself properly. It is a lot. Avoid third-party tuition loans. Okay, now before I speak about this, it is also possible that some schools have what they call bursaries and loan options for international students. Now, most people think that these options are only available to home students, but some schools have options like that available for international students. And I think this is open for further inquiry. I think Cardiff Met has something like this, and I think it's like £500 to £1,000 for international students. It's called bursaries or loan. You understand? So you can have access to it. And I think when you're done with studies, you now pay back when you start working full time. So you can always walk to your finance department and speak about it or ask about this thing. One thing I know about any country you're going to, one thing I know that is sure is that when you open your mouth and speak, you will get answers. But when you close your mouth and you say, I don't want to speak about it, I don't want to come off as though I'm desperate, or I don't want to come off as though I'm looking for people to leech on and all. If you don't speak, nobody's going to know your problem. So open your mouth, talk to people about it, talk to the finance department, walk up to them. People always feel like school should be the one reaching out to them. But now you can reach out to the school, reach out to the finance department, talk about your predicament, let somebody help you. Okay? So, as I've spoken about the loan that may be available to international students, avoid third-party loan options. You see those people that are going to say, "Come and borrow £10,000 from me," and you pay. They might say you pay £1 interest every month, or you pay £1 interest every day. £1 interest every day grows like wildfire. Because if you had £10,000 to pay your tuition balance, you would have paid it. So how do you expect to pay back that £10,000 within 1 month? The £10,000 that you've borrowed from somebody, all these third-party loan agencies, don't fall for it. That's why I said speak to your school about your predicament. Let them see if they can readjust your financial or your installmental payments. Okay. So this is where I draw this curtain today on this video, payment of tuition balance. If you have any comment for me at all, drop it in the comment section. Please give this video a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to the channel. See you all in my next video. Bye.